Alright, this is page 5 of the first semester review. So use the table below to answer the questions 44 through 46. Okay, so range, domain and range, and independent and dependent variables. So just as a reminder, X is the domain and Y is the range. X is also the independent variable and Y is the dependent variable. So what is the range? You could be thrown off by this one because it is 0 through 300, but we don't know that it doesn't tell us that it's all of those numbers in between. So you just have to list them out. The 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. So the correct range there would be D, where they're listed individually. So what is the independent variable? Again, independent is the X value, so that would be the number of boxes of candies. And then on 46, to enter an equation, we've been doing quite a bit of that, so you should have that by now. On the calculator, you just hit Y1 to enter an equation in. Alright, so on 47, for a line with the equation y equals 7x minus 3, the slope is, okay, so we've done this quite a few times. So y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept, so the slope would be 7. So to solve for y on this one, again, we could do it a couple of different ways. We could just type it into our calculator, y1 and y2. We could plug this half into y1 and this half into y2. So we have, just be careful, it doesn't matter what equation is, what variable is here. Calculator only understands x, so you'd have to type x in instead of y. So you put that in y1 and this in y2 and solve by going into the table and finding out where both of these were 100. Oh, I actually did that wrong. I apologize. It's where it's negative 10. So clear negative 10. I hope you caught my mistake there. It's going to make much more sense. When do both of these equal negative 10? It's when y is equal to 2. We could also solve this by hand, which you should be able to do by now. So 3 3y minus 5y plus 6 equals negative 10. We have to distribute this negative. So it's 3y minus 5y minus 6 equals negative 10. To simplify this side, so we can combine these two. Combine our variables that are the same. Negative 2y minus 6 equals negative 10. We need to get our term with y alone, so we need to get rid of our minus 6, so plus 6. 4. Divide both sides by negative 2, and y is equal to 2. For number 49, given two lines q equals 8x and p equals 3x. So since this one, q has a slope of 8, which means if we started at 0, 0, which both of these do, it would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and over 1. So this first line would look like this. And our second line would only go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. I actually need to draw that a little bit better. Hold on. Alright, so here, this one started at 0, 0 and went up 8 over 1. Then the second one is going to start at 0, 0 and go up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. So that line is going to look more like that. So this is the 8x and this is the 3x. So line Q is steeper. This is Q and this is P. So line Q is steeper than line P. That's all there is to it. So it's A. We don't even have to look at the rest of them. Alright. Alright, a decorating company charges a design fee of $50 plus $50 per strand of holiday lights. How many strands of holiday lights did they use if the client's bill was $175? Well, okay, so we know that Y is equal to, we have $5 that happens every time we get a strand of lights. So the 5 is going to be our rate of change. 5 times X is going to be strand of lights, and we charge $50 for the design fee, and we want this to equal 175. So 175 equals 5x plus 50, and we could do this by hand, or we could go into y equals and do 175 and 5x plus 50 and see where it equals 175. At 25. If we did this by hand, see if I can do it in this amount of room, minus 50, 125, that's 5x, divide both sides by 5, and x equals 125 divided by 5 is also 25. Alright, for number 51, the coordinate plane, the horizontal axis, and for x-axis and our y-axis, so the horizontal one is the flat one, that would be the x-axis. A t-shirt company charges $7 per t-shirt and a $50 setup fee. Which table shows the correct relationship between the number of t-shirts and the total cost? So for this one, sorry I scrolled down a little too far. Let's make sure we can see it. So for this one, I would do the same thing. I would go y equals, we have a $50 setup charge, so that's one-time fee, and then 7 per t-shirt. So 7 times that number of t-shirts plus $50 just one time. There's our formula. So we just go into our calculator, the y1, and put that in, 7x plus 50, and look at our table and see where this fits. So 15 has 155, so it can't be that one, it's got to be B, and we can look at our other numbers and they will work out to 10, 120. So what is the correct equation for this relationship? I actually did that first. It is the y equals 7x plus 50. And in this problem, the y-intercept, the 50, represents the setup fee. Okay, just 2 more on this page. So number 55, which equation is used to solve an inverse variation problem? So if you remember, direct variation are the y equals a constant times x, and inverse variation, so that's direct, inverse variation is y equals a constant divided by x. So inverse variation would be C. Last one, which line comes next when solving this equation? So if you'll remember, you have to simplify both sides of the equation as much as you can. So we're using PEMDAS for that. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So I see parentheses, I got to get rid of them. I'm going to do that by distributing. So I'm just going to write down my negative 5x. And then I'm going to distribute 2 times x, 2 times negative 4, and negative 15. And we see, of course, that that is none of those. All right, so that's the end of page 5.